guys, it's Amy at Zoe back, and I'm going to do my weekly reading update for April 17th, 2000, is that right? 2022. So, there's just a lot going on right now. Said work is still the same. I'm pretty much still trying to get stuff done, but I'm making progress. A lot of progress was made this week. I was feeling pretty good about that, though I didn't want to do as much as I did, but well, okay, we made it through. I did get new glasses last week. I was in my video, somebody noticed it, so thank you. But actually I have to go back in for a new appointment because I don't think they're right. I can see fairly well, and when I'm driving, I'm okay. I can see all the signs, but if I'm looking at my television, which really isn't that far away. Things are just slightly blurry. I can't read as many books on the shelves of other people's videos, which I don't like. And then if I'm reading, I can read close, but if I drop the book to my lap, I can't read as well with my readers. Anyway, so point is, I need another prescription. So I'm going to go back in and get these probably turned in. And so if you see the old glasses again, that's what's going to happen. Anyway, so beyond that, happy Easter for those who celebrate. My brother and I are gonna go down and visit my parents. We're gonna meet halfway between our houses in Salem and have lunch there for that. So we're gonna do that early afternoon. So that'll take up a lot of my afternoon reading. Darn. But because I've been reading so much this week, I don't think it's going to hurt me that much. I read a lot of books this week. I think I was just so determined to finish this series that I started that I just burned through it. So let's talk about the books I read, what I'm in the middle of, and what I think I'm going to read in the next week. So Sunday, I focused on Prudence by Gail Carriger. This is the first book in the Custard Protocol series. I read this when it first came out. I think, did I say 2017? And I really enjoyed 2015. So I read it when it first came out, and then I collected the other books as they came out, but never continued. I just never got around to it. So this is one of my high priority series this year to do for Series About Series, which is put on by Elizabeth at Lizzie Faye Loves Books. And this was one of the two series I said, these are my primary ones that I want to get done this year. So this one I wanted to get started. So now I've read the first book, reread the first book, and I remembered a lot of it. I didn't remember the end at all. Like, I couldn't remember what happened. I didn't remember how the twists and turns in this. This is a steampunk Victorian paranormal romance, or, well, urban fantasy, really. Yeah, I would say urban fantasy. This is more on the urban fantasy side. But we're talking about the late 1890s, and Prudence is the child of two very prominent members of the series of the Parasol Protectorate. And this is her and her friends, and they go on an adventure to India. And it went in ways I did not expect. I forgot a lot of it. Like, there's certain things I remembered and some I didn't. So it was a great rereading experience. I'm looking forward to picking up Imprudence, which is book 2. I'm hoping to get, if I don't get binge these at any point, at this point I want to read one a month. So it's kind of like how one of the other series where I want to kind of space it out a little bit. But we'll see. Imprudence is on, sitting next to my where I sit on the couch, so that if I feel like picking it up, I will. Because this ended in a way that I'm not quite sure where it's going to go next. And again, I never did continue from this. I read the first chapter when the second book came out, because I also got that one signed, because she came up to Portland the first couple books, so I was able to get them signed each time. So I remember reading the first chapter when I first got it, and then I didn't read on. So anyway, I'm looking forward to continuing with the series. This is not the series that I binged this week. But I did really enjoy that, and I will continue to the next book, at least in the next month. I'm not sure if it's going to be the end of this month or into May. I'm not positive. Who knows with my reading. Anyway, so the other books I read this week, and as I said, I read 7 books, and 6 of them were in a series. So I just got these And I told you about them last week that I was waiting for them, and I had got the shipping notice that I wasn't going to get them to Tuesday. And 2 hours after I filmed that video, they popped up on my doorstep. So I got to start these as soon as I finished Prudence that night. So that was pretty cool. So these are the rest of the series of the Wicked Villains series by Katie Robert. So I had read Desperate Measures last week, and I really enjoyed this book. I really liked this one. It's very kind of gangster, kind of mafia, almost to erotica kind of stuff, but it was just, I really enjoyed this. I did not expect to with Jasmine and Jafar, let's just be honest, because they have like Disney villains and heroes kind of mixed. It's kind of interesting. So I read, and again, I read almost all these like within a day and a half. I read them really fast, and I dedicated a lot of my evenings. I didn't watch as much booktube or TV or anything to get these done, because I wanted to get this series done, which is ridiculous. I had plenty of time, but oh well, whatever. So I first read Learn My Lesson, which is book 2, which is a Hades, Meg, and Hercules. A Worthy Opponent, which is Hook and Tink. The Beast, which is The Beast. Well, it's Isabel, who's Belle, and then Gaton or something is supposed to be, the Gaston character, but that one. The Sea Witch, which is instead of Ursula, it's Ursa, and Zarel instead of Ariel, and then Ulrich instead of Eric. Their names are funny how that she changed them just enough. And then Queen Takes Rose is Aurora, and the character's called Malone, but I'm pretty sure it's supposed to be Maleficent. So anyway, and then I read all the little shorts. She has a Patreon, and she has some extra, like they're little like the happily ever after, like kind of after, like a little bit later kind of little snippets that she did for her Patreons on those characters. So this one was just fun. I mean, this was just a little kind of sneak into after. I read it after all these because these come after the stories. So some of these go in between, but I didn't read them that way because I didn't want to spoil myself for anything at all. So I waited and read this at the very end. So these are just fun. I don't know if I needed to buy a physical copy of it, but they were fun. I did enjoy them. They were like 16 little short stories about all the characters, and it was just fun to revisit them and stuff. Of these, so I had some definite favorites. So I would say of these, Desperate Measures, which was the very first one, is still my favorite. I think that one was just such a shock of how much I liked it. And I think that's what I've heard from pretty much everybody who has read this series. A Worthy Opponent actually is my next favorite. I really enjoyed Hook and Tink. I was kind of surprised because at first I wasn't sure about it, because I hate Peter Pan stories. I hate Peter Pan retellings. But this was my favorite. And it kind of makes me feel the same way as I do about Neon Gods, which is another series of hers that I just, I started this year, and I reread that book earlier this month. And that's my favorite, Hades and Persephone, because they did certain things that she did a different way that I enjoyed it. And I think that's how I felt about this, is that I wasn't expecting to enjoy a Hook and Tink book, to be honest. I was curious, but it worked really well. So all of these have, again, they're very strong. They have a lot of erotica, a lot of BDSM kind of stuff, very safe situations usually. There is a lot of like stuff going on in the backgrounds of they have all traumas in their background. A lot of times we don't see the trauma on page, which is nice. It's more, this is later where they've had to deal with it for a while, and they're kind of messed up from that. And then their relationships, how they do. So this was my next favorite after Desperate Measures. So that was a really fun one. My next favorite was book 4, The Beast, with The Beast, and then the guy is Gaton or Gaton. I don't know how you say his name in here, but the one who's the Gaston character, and Isabel, which is the Belle character. And I really enjoyed this one. I didn't expect to like this one as well from the way it went either, but I really enjoyed that one. And that one was more, she dated both the guys for a couple of years because no one could decide how they all liked each other, like how it was all their feelings were twisted together, and then they all broke up with each other, and then then they get back together for reasons for the territory, their crime territory. Pretty funny. So this one, I would say next, I like the Sea Witch, which was again Ursa is one of the territory leaders, as Hook was. And she tricks Zurel to, or Zuri is how her nickname is, to save Alaric from his contract with Hades. And it was actually, this went in ways I didn't expect. I didn't like it as much as I did the other three, but this one is I've still enjoyed it. And I like the way it ended, or how it went, except for, it has one of those, I kind of felt bad for some of the characters, when something happens, but I did like that one quite well. Then I would say Learn My Lesson is probably the next one. This one, I didn't, maybe because I had already read Neon Gods, and that Hades is my favorite Hades ever, that it was hard for me to like this Hades a little bit more. It's kind of interesting, because it deals with Hercules, who's kind of connected to the Dark Olympus series. And so this was the first one I got kind of hints of how her series are all connected. And so I did like that. And I said, overall, I like the throuple of this one as well. Some of the other ones, but it wasn't my favorite. I still think there was issues with some of the things. I still enjoyed it. I enjoyed the ride. And then my least favorite, which is a surprise, which is Queen Takes Rose, which is the last of the novels, the 6th book. I just didn't get along with this one as well. I think because this one had a lot more of the bad thing that happened in Aurora's past. And again, that's Aurora, like as in Sleeping Beauty. And I think it's Maleficent. That's why I guess I didn't look up to see which, I'm guessing that's what it is. Anyway, but Aurora has some stuff that happened in the past that Malone had done that's connected to her, but nobody knows that she's connected to that. And I don't know, it's not quite to the lying trope, because it's not. She didn't tell her, but she also has good reasons for it. So I'm not against it. It just didn't go the way I wanted it to. And again, I liked the way it wrapped up in the end and how that came about. Like I liked it by that point, but there was a part in the middle where I wasn't quite sure the give and take, the pull, it just was too, I just didn't care for it as much. So this was my least favorite of the series. But, so overall though, I really enjoyed my reading of this. Obviously, if I read them back to back, maybe I should have taken a break in the middle and read something else, but I was just on like a roll, and I was like, I'm going to get this series done in a week. And so, really, if you count when I read Desperate Measures with this, I probably took just over a week to read all 6 novels and then the short, the stories. So, but I finished a series it's not on my list of series I was going to read, but I really enjoyed those. I did buy all those this month, and I've read them, so that's pretty good, right? Anyway, so if you like, I would say really sexy times, there is BDSM, there's a lot of safe words, and there's a lot of, people have a lot of stuff going on in their real life, so it's really like a contemporary, but it has this twist. And what I really did like about this, again, it has hints to the Dark Olympus series, which technically comes after this series, which I read first because that was the one I was most attracted to. And so that was kind of cool to see some of that stuff. And there's a couple of stories she has on her website that are for free, that if you get on her newsletter, you can read. So I think there's one that crosses that I'm really looking forward to reading, hopefully this week, if I feel like it, or it's pretty soon. And then I did order a book that connects to another series called the Sabine Valley, I don't know, some valley, which is, they talk about it a lot in the last couple books, the last 2 books, I think. And it's a series that she's written 2 books for, and I have the next book, Abel, coming. I don't expect to read that super right away, but I probably will read it fairly soon. And if I like that, I'll get the second book in that too. So I don't know. So I've read, what did I say? I've read 11 Katie Robert things this year so far, I think. So she's closing in on my Shelley Lawrenston, which has 18 things that I've read this year. Yeah. So those are my top read. Yeah, as I said, they're series. So again, I finished a series, which is great. So I finished that late last night. So I didn't get to start anything else. Oh, what did I just do with that? So what I'm in the middle of right now, the only thing I'm technically reading right now is Project Hail Mary by Andy Weir. I have not touched this audiobook in a week. I still have 8 hours left to read of this. This week was not an audiobook week when I was reading so much physically, and that's all I was thinking about. In every spare moment that I had, I was reading. So as I said, I dedicated a lot of time to reading this last week. So I'm hoping this week I'll get a chance to read more or listen to my audiobooks a little bit more. And yes, kitten, Cooper, seriously. Anyway, I'm hoping to get to more audiobook this week. I'd like to, as I said, I'd like to finish it out before the end of the month. I'd like to be done by the end of next week, but since I didn't pick it up at all this week, I don't know, 8 hours is quite a bit of audiobook, so we'll see. So the only so what I'm going to read in the next week. So the only thing for sure is tomorrow I am starting my buddy read with Tia and all the books. We are diving into a new series that we're picking up for Alona Andrews. Again, we did the Kate Daniels series all last year, and that was fantastic, and we got through the whole series. So this is a little shorter series, which is good, but this is one I've read the first book twice. Burn for Me is the first book in the Hidden Legacy series. We're following Nevada and Rogan, and I really enjoyed this first book. Again, I have read it twice. I read it when it first came out, and then I read it a couple years ago, planning to read on, and I didn't. So I'm hoping with the buddy read with Tia, we will continue to the second book sometime in May. But let's get through the first book. We'll see what happens. So we're following Nevada, who is kind of I think she's an investigator of some sort. And her family, it's a world where, urban fantasy, a world where the magic is very prevalent. Something happened and everybody has magic, but some families have more power than others. Her family has some magic, but they try to downplay how much they have. They don't want to get involved in all the stuff going on, politic wise and everything. Rogan is one of the top magic users. He is well known. He's also called Mad Rogan, which will be interesting. I mean, it's interesting. And something happens where they get thrown together on a mystery. And they both think the other one had something to do with it. And of course it kind of goes a different way. I remember the ending to this is like I wanted to pick up the next book and I don't know why I didn't. So I am going to read this week with her. We have it split up for 5 days. So it'll be done on Friday. So I'm really looking forward to that. I hope to pick up, my ebook is my ebook of K.E. By Vasneva Patel. So this is I got as a ARC from a Goodreads giveaway. So this is coming out not this week but next week. And it's India myth retelling of a queen, I think, that nobody liked or didn't realize she was going to become a queen, something. I just hear really good things about this so far. I know a lot of people got it for their book of the month or whatever, but I got it as a Goodreads giveaway, which doesn't happen very often. But I have got it, and I would like to get it done. I'd like to read it this week, but we'll see how I feel. I said, I don't get to it. It's on ebook or on my Kindle. So I don't know if I'm going to feel like reading off my Kindle, if I'm going to try to get my audiobook done. I don't know. So we'll see. So my possibilities, I think I might pick up Middle Game by Seanan Mcguire. And this is a book that I've been wanting to read for quite a while, but I only bought it this last year, and kind of got myself a little bit more to read it. I think I just put it off because I wasn't sure about it. But now that I know that there's another companion novel coming out next month, and again, there's the 2 short novellas that are kind of connected to it, I thought, well, you know, maybe I'll read this one. This Seanan Mcguire one, because again, I do like her Wayward Children series. I do want to get back to the October Day series. I've read a lot of her, some of her kind of smaller series or some of the standalones. I've not read the Encrypted, I think is the name of the other series. I haven't tried that one yet. But I thought Middle Game would be good because it is tome topple. It's just over 500 pages. So I thought, well, maybe this is the time to read this. So we will see. I'm not positive this is what I'm going to feel like, but we'll see. I would like to read it. All I know is about Roger and Dodger. I think they're related somehow, and somehow because of the way they were raised or there's something's going on, someone's going to become a god. I'm not quite sure how it all relates. I think it's a cross between kind of science fiction and urban fantasy. I'm not positive. I'm not. I just know a lot of people either love it or hate it, and I want to see where I am on it. So as I said, I do like her writing, so I want to see how she goes in a really big novel. So we'll see what happens. So I think I might pick that up next. I do, so, but I don't think I'm going to pick these up, but I just want to point out, these are my BookTube spin books from this last Friday. Number 17 I got was The Coward by Stephen Aaron, and Hall of Smoke by H.M. Long is number 20 that was picked. So I have both of these to read by the end of June. I'm pretty sure I've been wanting to read this for over a year, and this one I've had for, well, I bought this last fall, so I've had this for over 6 months. So this one has a sequel coming out. I think it's a duology, but it might be a trilogy, and I don't know it. So this one's about a guy who is 20 years after he came back from a kind of a place where, or some kind of adventure. He was the young one, but he's the only one who came back alive. So everybody thinks he's the hero, but he's not. And then then whatever they were supposed to have fought comes back, and then he's kind of dragged into that. A Hall of Smoke is following kind of a Nordic setting with a priestess who makes a decision that kind of sets certain things into motion, and then she has to try to make up for that. This one has a companion novel that's already been out, and I keep looking at it and want to buy it, but I'm like, I haven't read the first book, so I can't. So I'm hoping to get to both of these in the next 2 months. I'm not saying that's what I'm just pointing out, that these are my BookTube spins for round number 6, just so you guys know. They'll hopefully appear in the next 2 months. We'll see what happens. Anyway, that's it. The only other thing I want to do is my little board, which is going to be kind of so this week I'm going to put down my Prudence as a reread, because I didn't technically start the series because I've already started it before, so it is a reread, so I have marked that there. My continue, I get to put down 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then my finish for the shorts. So I finished that series. Look, I finished a series already. Anyway, but that's all. Again, this is going to be the year series, guys. I think I have to get, as much as all the stuff in BookTube that I've picked up, all the books that I've bought, all the things I've participated in the last 5 years. I feel like the one thing that I let kind of slip was my love of series, just because I had so many other books just calling to me, and I just kind of pushed them aside and go, well, I'll get to them at some point. And I think I've just realized that as much as I have so many series that I've never completed and I've never gotten to, I just feel like this is the year that I'm feeling like banging through a lot of those series. I don't think I'm going to get through all the series that I have on my series list. I don't think even all the ones I want to binge, I'm going to binge. I think there are going to be series I'm going to DNF. I've been very lucky that I've only really DNF'd one series that this year I've touched. So far, everything I have either read or made progress in, or is looking forward to making more progress in. So anyway, I think that's it. I've talked a lot. Sorry about that. I thought it would be faster because I had books all in a series, but of course I just love to chatter. Anyway, so what are you guys reading? What is on your horizon of books to read? I think that's it. I don't think I have anything this next week. Is pretty much, as I said, I just have my buddy read, so I'm just gonna pretty much focus on that and then read whatever I feel like around it. We'll see what happens. I don't know. Did I mention that that Tome Topple is put on by Thoughts on Tomes? Sorry about that. And it's running from the 14th to the 28th of April. Those 2 weeks. So that's why I was hoping to get one tome in there, because I'm not doing very good on reading big books right now, because clearly all the books I read this week were all 250 to 275 pages. So, well, except for, well, Prudence was a little longer, but still. Anyway, point is, that's it. So anyway, I will hopefully, your guys' reading is going well, and I will talk to you guys later. Bye.